All right, so I'd like to welcome you to a special conversation we're going to have this morning for ICO Matters. We're going to highlight three of our students this morning who have achieved the distinction of graduation with research honors. Several years ago, we embarked on a program here at the college called the Summer Research Program, where we wanted to try to create research opportunities for students. They would spend the summer between their first and second year of training and work on mentored research projects. We started that in 2019. Since that time, we've evolved the program, and one of the components that we rolled in was the creation of a distinction graduation with research honors. And this distinction is a distinction that was created to really recognize certain students who sort of rose to a certain level. These students apply for this. There's a petition that they submit, and they submit their credentials based on their research and their participation in research while at the college. This year we're highlighting 3 students. This is a record number of students that we've had so far as part of this program. We have Rachel Breliant, Manisha Parikh, and Christina Wentz. And again, this is the first time that we've had 3 students who've met this distinction. So when they graduate from the college in a few days, on their diplomas, they will have the distinction graduation with research honors. So what we want to do is highlight the accomplishments of these students and also bring in their research mentors as well, because they've been so integral to the research process. So I'd like to just start out, first of all, and ask each of you to just tell us how you got involved in the summer research program and why you were interested in doing research as a student at the program.
So I was first interested in doing research because I was involved in research in undergrad at UW-Madison. There I worked in the infectious disease research lab, so I know I had a passion for research and had a lot of fun working in the lab. And then actually right here in my interview with Dr. Collup is when he told me Dr. Pong would be a great mentor for me. So I reached out to her, and that's how I got involved.
That's great. How about you, Manisha? How'd you get interested?
So for me, I hadn't had too much research opportunities in the previous time, but I really enjoyed the fact that I could learn more about optometry, specifically myopia management. That was one of the things that I was interested in before coming into optometry school. And I saw Dr. Ping's project going on, and I was very interested in starting with that. And so that kind of got it going.
Christina?
Yeah, so like Rachel, I was also doing research in undergrad. At the University of Minnesota, I was in a biophysics lab, so I really enjoyed, like Rachel said, working in that lab environment and researching. And then when they presented the summer research program as an option, they did a big presentation highlighting some of the previous students and what they were able to accomplish just in that summer. I knew that was something that I wanted to do as well.
So each of you were participants in the 2021 summer research program. So their research has been going on for quite some time. They spent months in advance of the 2021 summer preparing for their projects. Then they spent time after their active data collection phase during the summer of 2021. They spent quite a bit of time writing abstracts for professional presentations, writing papers. So really, this has been a work that's been in progress for 3 years. Could each of you tell us just a little bit about your research focus and what you worked on in the summer research program? Christina, we can start with you.
Yeah, so my summer research program was looking at the effect that blue light blocking glasses have on digital eye strain and also eye movements. So our project was focusing not only on the blue light blockers, but also on the anti-reflective coatings and how those may or may not work together to affect eye comfort.
My project was looking at dry eyes in the pediatric population, specifically meibomian gland atrophy and tortuosity. And then we looked at other additional factors that were affecting both of those, like BMI, diet, and like outdoor time, screen time. Yeah.
Great.
As Manisha mentioned before, I also had an interest in myopia control. So my research was on low-dose atropine and its effects on binocular vision and accommodation in a pediatric population.
One of the accomplishments of each of these 3 students is they actually have had publications accepted or already published, which is quite an accomplishment, especially with the busy schedules that our students have. To actually take their research to that level with all of the other activities that they have going on is really very remarkable. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit about where your papers are accepted to be published or have already been published. Let's start with you, Rachel.
So my paper is published in OVS, Optometry and Vision Science, and then I was also able to present my research at ARVO and Academy.
It's great. Manisha.
Thank you. So my article will be published in OVS this fall, and I also was able to have a chance to present my work at ARVO as well as Academy.
Okay. And our paper will also be in OVS and also presented at Academy and ARVO.
That's great. So as part of the summer research program projects, an integral component is the mentorship. And Dr. Pang and Dr. Winters have worked very closely with these students. Dr. Pang, you've mentored Manisha and Rachel. And I'd like to ask each of you, from your perspective, would you like to comment on the projects that they conducted and how they did over time?
Sure, I'd love to comment. Rachel, Christina worked really hard, and one of the biggest things with her is she was so independent throughout the project. Initially, when we developed it to recruiting the patients, the subjects for the project, I know that's a stumbling block for a lot of student research, but you were able to recruit the subjects, do the testing so independently, and analyze the data. One of the things about the summer research project that I really like is it gives the students time. That summer time is ideal because they can really focus on the project. When I've worked with students who try to do research outside of the summer research project, they stumble a little because it's just that they're so busy with their classes and their other responsibilities that they have, that I really do appreciate the project or the program for giving students that time to really focus on their projects.
What type of interaction do you have during the actual summer research program? Of course, the students are spending the entire summer again between their first and second year of training, and you're sort of on call during that time period, right?
I'm on call, but I'm not on call because we really spent some time developing the protocol that Christina was really on her own for a lot of the day-to-day, responsibilities. I did appreciate, we did have that journal club where we all could get together and discuss articles, and I found that helpful. And talking a little bit more about statistics and other projects, because I think that helped us think a little more broadly about some of the statistics in our project.
Good. Dr. Pang?
So I totally agree with Dr. Winters. One more thing I want to add is research environment at ICO is so wonderful. Like, for example, for Manisha, I had to send her between 2 clinics. So she was recruiting patients from pediatric, but do her test in cornea and contact lens. So it's coordination between pediatric, cornea contact lens. And besides me, Dr. Six also supported Manisha so much. It's not just me, it's a faculty. And for Rachel, we have a whole team in pediatric to help Rachel to find a patient, recruitment, and Dr. Valerie Katouf Dr. Elena Benstra also helped Rachel to recruit patients. And again, the whole faculty is the feeder, the supporter for this program and for the students.
Okay, so one of the things that I observed with U3 students in particular is even though that you have the mentorship and the mentors are available to answer questions, guide you in your subject recruitment, your paper writing, things of that nature, successful students like U3 really requires a level of independence that goes above and beyond. And that's what's really been special about U3 is you've been very self-motivated and you've really just taken the ball and ran with it. Our goal with the summer research program is to provide the tools for these students to be successful in their projects and guide them, but ultimately it really comes down to the individual person and how they take ownership of the project and really push it along. So one of the things I'd like to emphasize is it's not the mentors doing this work. I mean, it's really the students who are conducting this work from beginning until end, and that's quite remarkable. One of the things that you've had to do is write up your results into abstract forms and present them at professional meetings. And that's something that you'd never done before, probably. And that can be quite a daunting task to go to a professional meeting and have a lot of experts come to your poster or your paper presentation and ask you questions. So what was your experience when you went to your first professional meeting and presented an abstract? And then do you have advice for any other students who might want to do this as well?
So the first two that I presented again were ARVO and Academy. ARVO was a great experience. I believe that was all of our first time. And I think that really what helped a lot with presentation was the camaraderie that we had between the students and then also the faculty. We all spent time practicing beforehand, checking over each other's posters, asking potential questions, and I think that helped a lot. People will definitely come and ask you questions, some that you expected, some not. But the ones that you didn't expect are great notes to take down for when you go to write your manuscript or to integrate that into publication.
Had you ever presented at a meeting, an abstract at a meeting before?
Not a professional meeting. The only experience I had with presenting a poster was at UW-Madison research meeting, yeah.
So, ARVO, the Association for Research in Vision and Ophthalmology, is the premier research meeting in the world. And for a second-year student, you were a second year, I think at that point, the spring of your second year, for you to walk into that meeting and, present that work, again, is quite remarkable and a testament to, what you've accomplished. Manisha or Christina, what about your experience at presenting at professional meetings?
Let me go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, go for it.
And for Manisha, and her professional research presentation also happens in OWL, and it was a paper presentation. That means she had to do the oral presentation in a huge room in front of all the expertise from the dry, from the pediatric, expert.
Thank you. So I was just going to talk about that. So that definitely was a first-time experience.
She did a really good job.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So I would say definitely use your resources because we have plenty at ICO. One specifically, Dr. Roberts. I actually had him help me out. I presented to him and asked for more questions and if there's any holes in my materials to help facilitate it more smoothly. And he did a really, really great job of helping out. And I felt more confident after that to present in front of a lot of professional strangers. But yeah, and I agree with Rachel that the questions that they asked at the conference was really helpful in terms of building our research to furthermore write our manuscript and do further data analysis because like when I was up there, there were so many questions that we hadn't thought of or we weren't really looking into as much. But after that, we were definitely building a more solid case for our manuscript. So that was really nice. Yeah.
I remember when you came into my office and said, hey, can I present my presentation to you? And as a faculty member, I think I would have been more nervous going into that than what you seemed. Manisha was very polished. And, you know, again, for a faculty member, that would have been a real nerve-wracking experience. And you went into that prepared. And again, kudos to you for being able to do that. Christina, how about you? Would you like to comment on your experience with it?
Actually, before she comments, I wanted to comment on ARVO. One of the great surprises when we were at ARVO, when we developed the project, there were a number of references that we used. And we picked a survey from this one article that had been used multiple times. And when we were at ARVO, the first author from like our primary reference article came and asked us questions, and thought that was really amazing that he was there, and he was there to ask us questions and critique the study a little bit. It just showed the interest in blue blocking lenses, and a variety of stakeholders that came up and asked questions, but especially him. I was so proud of our study at that time.
Yeah, and just to add off of that, he also had, I don't know if it was him specifically or one of his students, they had a poster right next door to us. So it was just really cool because you are kind of grouped by category to see what other people in your area are doing and where they're taking their research, and how Rachel and Manisha were saying, how we can redirect and refocus to better strengthen what we're looking into. So that was really exciting.
I before this meeting that we're having right now, I went back and tallied up some things, and including publications as well as presentations. You three, and I might be off one or two, had a total of 13 publications or presentations at professional meetings.
More than that.
I guess I'm undercounting.
5, 6, or maybe 11. Yes, you have 3 or 4? 2. No, 3. 14.
So I stand corrected. So again, I mean, that's hard for a faculty member to do that, and for you guys to do that, while you're in school, again, it's pretty remarkable. I'd like to move into the publication aspect of this, and that's a whole nother aspect of the research process. And you all took your research data after you had presented it in abstract form. You developed a manuscript and went through the process of submitting it to scholarly journals, having it reviewed, oftentimes very critically. They got to experience what that's like for somebody independent from ICO, review your paper and give you feedback on it. Would any of you like to comment on your experience of the publication process and how that went?
Yeah, well, I just want to say that part of the application process to be in the summer research program had us write an introduction like you would in a paper. So right from the get-go, it was really helpful to have your mentor helping you fill that out, flesh it out for when you actually apply, and have the IRB of ICO actually look at it and decide if your project is solid enough to move forward. So that was helpful there. And it was a little shocking when we got our first reviews back, just to have different opinions working in there, because at ARVO, we had a poster, so we'd have 1 or 2 pointed questions, and suddenly you have every aspect of your paper critiqued. Was a different experience, but definitely helped overall to make it stronger.
Yeah, and we actually should circle back to, you brought up how other faculty support, the Institutional Review Board looked at all these studies, and you did get critiques from them as well way back at the beginning before we started the study, and that really helped put the study on the right, or not the right, but maybe a successful path. I remember you specifically gave us some feedback on our filters, and I think that really helped. So, I think working, not just mentors and the students, but working with a number of faculty as a team, help these projects be successful.
So specifically about like the publication process, I felt like it was very eye-opening. Like I would definitely use the phrase, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," because I definitely felt like, there's a lot of moments in the beginning when I was like, we applied or like sent our manuscripts to a journal and got like very, very, like important points pointed out. But also at the same time, it's like your hard work's been done for so long, and then you're just like overwhelmed with like all the comments that are being given. But I think like as a student, like looking at that really matures you, because you understand that like research isn't about who's right and who's wrong. It's really just giving the information out and it being correct and all well-rounded. And like that was really important for me to learn and see, and I really appreciated that like opportunity to see that. So that was really good.
How long did the process take you? From the time you submitted till the time you got it published?
Yeah.
What was that like?
3 years? 4 years? Yeah, 3 to 4 years. I guess 3 years when you started your summer research project and you got your data analysis and you started going to conferences. But writing the manuscript was quite a process. That took some time, and then getting it reviewed and then submitting it and then hearing back from them with their comments. That also is like another several months of just like reviewing. So yeah, it's a long one, but it's worth it.
Did you get your paper?
Optometry, Vision, and Science.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Christina, what paper did you publish? Or what journal, Christina?
OAP.
Yeah. OAP.
Yep. Okay. How about you, Rachel? What was your experience like writing up your paper and going through the publication process?
So similar to what a lot of the girls have said, there's a lot of back and forth. Writing up the paper, it's nice that we have a lot of examples from faculty to go off of and guidance there. And then once you submit, you get feedback back not only on the writing, but also the statistics. So you may have to make edits to your writing and clarifications, but then also run statistics back and forth so that you can make the paper as strong as possible. So I was happy to have a lot of guidance through that process. And even though it was lengthy, it was definitely worth it in the end.
And what journal again?
OVS as well.
OVS as well. Okay.
So I want to point out OVS is a #1 optometry journal, national and worldwide. So it's really hard to get a paper accepted by OVS. And another thing I want to point out is ICO has a writing supporting committee. And for both Manisha and Rachel's paper, Dr. Kelly France really help us to edit the paper and move the paper to a much better stage. Yeah. And without the support from the whole ICO faculty, I don't think, I don't think the process will be as easy as right now, although still take, several revisions to get accepted and published.
Yeah, it was definitely a full team effort. Both Dr. Vong, Dr. Roberts also edited as well. So we had quite a few people on our team making sure that these papers were up to par.
How'd you feel when you got that acceptance email after all that?
Relieved. Relieved that the process is done. Also just so excited by the accomplishment.
So for Dr. Pang and Dr. Winters, obviously you have a lot invested in the research that's been done and what have you. You've put a lot of time into this. Why did you feel compelled to be involved in the summer research program and mentoring these students?
That's a very good question. And first of all, for example, Manisha and Rachel come to me right before, way before the deadline. The deadline to apply for summer research program was March 15th. And they showed up in my office in January. And I already see the passion. How can I say no to them? And Rachel, I still remember when I had the meeting with her, she wants to do myopia control and she wants to do binocular vision. So we are like, okay. So she and I, we are like, let's find out a project, is her interest and also my expertise so we can work together. And for Manisha, same thing, she has her interest. And I'm just so happy I can mentor them. And another thing about ICO research is it's changing so much. Besides, we have brilliant minds, bring people, students here. We also have the infrastructure, the research student committee to support us, and the whole administration team to support us. So it's very easy for me to say yes and mentor the students.
So Dr. Pang is talking about the Student Research Committee, and the Student Research Committee was developed 3 or 4 years ago to support student research here at the college. And the Student Research Committee reviews the applications of the summer research program students. They're always available to answer questions. The Student Research Committee members will meet at the journal club meetings that we have during the summertime. So again, that's part of the structure that we've developed at the college to help support the student research. Dr. Pang, how will the new Wesley Research Center impact research at the college? Can you talk a little bit about the new construction of the new research center and how you think that's going to be integral going forward?
So Rachel actually, she did all her research in the old research center, and now we have the new Dr. Wesley Newton Research Center opened up last year. And space-wise, we are 3 times bigger than the old research center. I still remember we only had 2 exam lens, right? Mm-hmm. I was trying to kick everyone out and reserve 1 room for Rachel because the minute a patient showed up in clinic, right, they are kids. We cannot ask them, wait for 2 hours. We are going to see you. We need a space. But now with a new research center funded by the donation from Dr. Wesley, we have 6 exam lens. And we have specifically 2 exam lens for student research. We also have data processing room, computer specifically for students to do research. We make it much easier for both faculty and student research.
Did the Wesley Center add quite a bit of space to the research capacity here at the college?
Correct. So more than 3 times bigger than the previous research suite.
And full of technology as well, right?
Correct.
And supported by 2 research coordinators.
Yes. Also the research supporting staff, we have 2 now instead of 1 before.
That's great. So again, I'd like to congratulate Rachel and Manisha and Christina on your upcoming graduation. That's quite an accomplishment as well. How will you use your research experience going forward at this point?
So I'll be actually starting a residency in the coming July. And as part of the residency, they also guide you on your path to fellowship. Part of fellowship is continuing involvement in research. I definitely feel a lot more confident moving forward that I can create posters to present at conferences moving forward. And I hope that research stays a part of my career for the rest of my career.
After residency, do you have any goals?
After residency, I prefer to stay in, I think, more of a medical setting. I really like the collaboration that you have in a school setting too, where you have the support to work on research. So I would definitely like to be somewhere where I have that support, that team where we're all working on research together. I think this was a great environment to be productive in.
Great. Manisha or Christina, how about you?
So I'm planning to practice right after optometry school, but I'm hoping to use my experience to just continue to give the best clinical care that I can to patients. And I think also there's a huge plus side to always thinking as a researcher and continually giving the best treatment you can. So I'm very appreciative that I have that perspective now, so I can really be the best optometrist that I can.
So I will also be doing a residency starting in July. And like Rachel said, one of the aspects of that is continuing to do research and make posters and papers for meetings and just to help further your understanding and practices as a doctor. So look forward to doing that.
And Christina, where are you doing your residency and what type of residency is it?
Yeah, so I'll be doing an ocular disease residency at Rochester Regional Health in Rochester, New York.
Great. Congratulations. Do you all have any advice for any other upcoming students who want to get involved in research at the college? What advice do you have for them?
There's a lot of great resources here. So if anyone is interested in research at all, even if you're not sure, just reach out right away. Everyone is really willing to work with you to follow that passion.
Yes, I would second what Christina said. I was also wanting to point out that the faculty here are so sweet in the way that they want their students to shine. And I think that's a really big thing about ICO's research on campus. And that way, like Dr. Six and Dr. Ping, my research mentors, they were working night and day to make sure that I got my goal that I wanted. And I think that was very empowering in a way, because they had so much faith in me that brought more confidence and faith in me that I didn't believe in the very beginning. But now it's you're at the end and you're like, wow, I made it because of these people. So I think it's really important for students to know that they have these opportunities here and you should go for it, even if it's a little scary in the beginning.
I think finding a mentor is probably one of the most integral steps to getting involved in research at ICO. There's pretty much any topic available to you, whether your interest lies in glaucoma or pediatrics or dry eye. So I think just figuring out maybe what you might be interested in, and then you can ask around and reach out to what faculty might be the best contact point, and then going from there, whether it's through the summer research program, which I think is a great way to start, or through research as a student on campus.
Mentors, do you have any advice for students or anything you'd like to add?
My advice, when the door is open, go inside and take a look. And if you do not go inside, you do not know what's a future opportunity for you and what's inside. So research will make the whole professional, moving forward and moving to a more advanced stage. And I cannot say enough. So 3 students are really the role model for future students to try research and be successful.
One of the things that when I work with students, it seems like they don't take enough time initially to really think about and develop the research question, which is something that we did. We spent a lot of time in the very beginning with thinking about the research question and developing the protocol. And really, I think that is what puts you on the path that you need to be on. Sometimes I work with students and they don't really think about that research question very concretely. So that would be my word of advice. Also, as you mentioned, the doors are always open, so we are here to help.
One of the things about the summer research program is that I think it's important for other students at the college to know is that the research is not prescribed necessarily. In other words, Some students come up with their own ideas and then bounce that off of faculty and refine those ideas. In other situations, maybe we've had students who had no idea what they wanted to do, and they go forward to a faculty member and see if they had any suggestions for viable projects. So it's really a conversation that you have back and forth with a potential mentor or other faculty members in trying to select a research project. And of course, one of the keys with a research project of this nature is trying to select the projects that are doable within the period of time and the constraints that we have. A faculty member may have many years to complete a project, whereas from a student perspective, you've got a very limited amount of time. So project selection is pretty critical, and that's something that you all did an excellent job at doing. Testament to this is the fact that you were able to get your projects done and even publish, you know. Okay, so just to wrap this up, I'd like to just congratulate all three of you again on the accomplishment. Graduation with research honors is a difficult thing to do. We've only had a handful of students who've met this honor. Usually it's one student a year, if even that, and this year we had 3. So quite a group. Congratulations again.
Congratulations.
And congratulations on your upcoming graduation. Is there anything that anybody else would like to add as we wrap it up here?
I'm just so thankful for this program and for everyone involved. So I just want to say thank you for the faculty mentors and also to my fellow students for all the support.
I want to say my great honor to mentor students. And again, for future students, ICO, we have the research opportunity. We have the best environment for you to be successful.
And really, I would just echo the same thing. We're here to help. Very proud of Christina and all she's accomplished, and I look forward to seeing what she's going to do in the future, because I know it's going to be some awesome stuff.
Well, thank you very much. All three of you really raised the bar quite a bit. So congratulations to you. We look forward to hearing about all of the big things to come in your careers.